Not for the first time, I wondered if I'd majorly screwed up by accepting an invitation from a couple of total weirdos. Maybe it was all just some sort of elaborate kidnapping or trafficking hoax. I leaned against the side of my beaten-up Crown Vic, a bursting-at-the-seams duffel bag at my feet, and raised an eyebrow at the sheer quantity of wilderness stretching out before me. They had refused to give me an address. The tiny town of Dunwich, sandwiched at the mouth of a massive forested valley, was the end of the line for me. I had been instructed to park here on the outskirts of the forest and wait for transportation to Deepwater Lodge, my final destination. Yeah, the whole thing was definitely shady, and way too intriguing to pass up. During my mother's funeral service 6 months ago, two people claiming to be old friends of hers had approached me. A man and a woman wearing black suits that looked ill-fitted on their rather emaciated frames. They'd looked almost like identical twins, possessing the same suntanned skin, curly ash-blonde hair, and wide blue eyes. Wide, rather crazed blue eyes. A shiver trailed down my spine as I recalled the hungry look in the woman's gaze when she saw me. Then, she'd seen my cousin Juno coming towards us and shoved a sealed envelope into my hands before the pair vanished. The contents of the letter, read in private later that night, had floored me. I'd always loved my mother, and I'd always been aware of her shortcomings. Gillian Gray had been a vain, rather selfish woman, but despite that, she was my mother, and I adored her, so I could forgive those things. There had been a brief moment in my life when I'd wondered if I might not harbor the teeniest seed of hate for her, when Juno, freshly bereaved of her own parents, had come to live with us. I'd hero-worshipped my older cousin with a fervor that astounded Gillian. Juno had been so cool, and what made her even cooler was that she didn't even know it. Somehow she made sitting around with her nose in a book about Victorian occultism seem like such a romantic, goth thing to do. But I'd overheard my mother complaining to my father one night about what a pain it was to handle a traumatized teenage girl, and how much she hated paying for her therapy. And that tiny pinch of hate had sparked to life.